Imagine walking into a roadside attraction and seeing a chimpanzee standing upright like a human, wearing clothes, calmly shaking hands, even sitting at a table like he belongs there. You wouldn't just be surprised, you'd be unsettled, because chimps aren't supposed to live like that. But in the 1970s, thousands of people met a chimp who did, and his name was Oliver the Chimp. Some believed he was half human. Others thought he was part of a secret experiment. Tabloids called him the missing link. But the truth of Oliver's life is far more complicated and far more heartbreaking. Because this story isn't really about mystery. It's about what happens when humans reshape an animal's entire identity and then walk away. Oliver first appeared in the United States in the early 1970s, already behaving in ways no one had seen before. He walked almost entirely on two legs. Not hunched, not briefly, but upright like a person. He didn't climb trees much, he didn't swing, and he showed little interest in interacting with other chimpanzees. Instead, Oliver preferred people. He liked sitting on chairs, using cups and utensils, watching television, and riding in cars. For audiences, this was fascinating. For scientists, it was strange and concerning because chimpanzees normally learn behavior by growing up in close social groups. Oliver clearly hadn't had that, but instead of asking why he behaved this way, most people focused on how entertaining and mysterious it looked. And that mystery quickly turned into profit. Word spread that Oliver might be a human-chimp hybrid. Scientifically, that idea made no sense, but science doesn't sell tickets. Mystery does. So Oliver was marketed as something special, something possibly not even fully animal. He appeared in shows and attractions. People paid to meet him and tell their friends they had seen a chimp who acted like a man. The more human Oliver seemed, the more acceptable it felt to treat him like a performer instead of an animal. He wasn't given a choice. He was trained to live the way people wanted to see him, and that kind of training, especially in young animals, can permanently alter behavior. Oliver's human-like traits were not natural. They were created. But chimps don't stay small and manageable forever. As Oliver grew older and stronger, his value as entertainment declined. He wasn't cute anymore, he was risky. And risky animals don't sell well. So Oliver was sold, not to a sanctuary or a zoo, but to a private animal dealer who bred and sold chimpanzees for research and entertainment. This is where Oliver's story becomes hard to hear. He was kept in a small cage with little social contact, little mental stimulation, and very little freedom. At one point, he was reportedly punished for standing upright, the very trait that once made him valuable. He was trained to behave unnaturally, and then punished for continuing to do it. The chimp who once ate at tables was now isolated and forgotten, and this went on for years. In the mid-1990s, animal welfare investigators received tips about severe neglect at the facility where Oliver was being kept. When authorities and activists finally gained access, what they found shocked even experienced rescuers. Chimpanzees were locked in cramped cages, some with untreated injuries, with no proper enrichment and no meaningful social contact. Among them was Oliver, underweight and weak, yet still walking upright. Photos from the rescue spread quickly, and public reaction was immediate. How could an animal once treated like a celebrity be living like this? Animal rights organizations fought in court to remove the chimpanzees from the facility. After long legal battles, they succeeded, and the chimps were transferred to sanctuaries. But rescue did not mean recovery would be easy. Even after Oliver was safe, the mystery around him remained. Was he actually different? Was there something biologically unusual about him? Scientists eventually performed genetic testing to finally answer the rumors once and for all. The result was clear. Oliver was 100% chimpanzee. No human DNA, no hybrid genetics, no secret experiments. So why was he so different? Experts believe the answer is early human imprinting. When animals are raised by humans instead of their own species, they often adopt human behaviors, sometimes permanently. But this comes at a terrible cost. They miss the critical developmental period where they learn how to socialize, communicate, and bond with their own kind. Oliver did not choose to be different. He was shaped that way. At the sanctuary, caregivers slowly tried to introduce Oliver to other chimpanzees. But chimp social life is complicated. There are hierarchies, friendships, and rivalries, and Oliver did not understand most of it. At first, he stayed on the edges of groups. He didn't always respond correctly to social cues. Sometimes he simply watched from a distance. But over time, something remarkable happened. Other chimps began to accept him. He learned to groom, to sit with the group, and to communicate in ways he never had before. For the first time in his life, Oliver was not performing for humans. He was just living. Not perfectly, not normally, but peacefully. And that matters because it shows that even after years of damage, some healing was still possible. Oliver's story is not unique. For decades, chimpanzees were used in movies, advertisements, roadside zoos, and research labs. As babies, they are easy to train and adorable on camera. But by the age of 5, chimps become extremely strong, stronger than adult humans. And once they are no longer useful for entertainment, many end up in private ownership, research, or neglect. Sanctuaries across the country are filled with former performers and lab animals who can never return to the wild. They live out their lives dependent on human care, not because they were born that way, but because people put them there. Oliver is one of the most famous examples, but he represents thousands of others whose names we will never know. Oliver spent his final years at a sanctuary where he had companions, routine, and medical care. Caregivers described him as calm and gentle. He lived quietly, no longer in the spotlight, and no longer a curiosity, just another chimp in a group. And in 2012, estimated to be around 60 years old, Oliver passed away peacefully. Not famous anymore and not mysterious, just safe. It is tempting to remember Oliver as a strange animal from the past, a curiosity, a viral story before viral videos existed. But his life raises uncomfortable questions that still matter today. Why do we love animals most when they act like us? Why do we turn living beings into entertainment and then act surprised when the consequences appear later? Oliver did not ask to be human-like. He did not choose fame. He did not choose isolation. Every unusual thing about him was the result of human decisions. And his story reminds us that curiosity without responsibility can easily become cruelty, even when it looks harmless at first. So, when we laugh at trained animals online or visit attractions that promise once-in-a-lifetime encounters, it is worth asking what that animal's life looks like when the crowd goes home. Because Oliver lived between two worlds, never fully belonging to either. And the truth is, we put him there.